For first, we are in a water crisis, and I think everybody needs to know that, and we need to be very clear about that. That the path we are currently on is unsustainable, and if we don't make some serious and big changes in the very near future, our way of life is going to be at stake. Our society is going to be at stake. The water we use to drink and to run our lives is at stake, but our economy is also at stake. I mean, it takes massive amounts of water to run factories, to run businesses. And so when we talk about water conservation and water resiliency, this isn't some feel good, mushy, tree hugger type issue. This is really cutting to the core of our economy, of our ability to sustain life in the desert. So I think the first thing to get out of the way is just being very clear that this is a dire issue. It is an urgent issue. And it's also one that's important to every single Arizonan. You will not hide from this issue, no matter where you live or the color of your skin or what you do as a living. We are all being affected. So I think we all should be paying close attention to what is happening. The second thing I think people to know is that there's hope, because in many ways, water is a nonpartisan issue because it does affect us all. And so there are some pathways forward. There are clear differences, I think, sometimes in the legislature between the parties. But my focus currently, I think the perhaps the most pressing issue we have is getting control of our groundwater. And I think to explain the issue briefly, we have basically river water from the Colorado that is drying up quickly. And then what we have is groundwater. The thing about groundwater is it doesn't replace. It is water that is underneath the Earth's surface. And we basically have big pools of water there. And we are sucking it out, and we are sucking it out from the earth very quickly. However, unlike river water that can kind of be replaced when it rains, groundwater isn't replaced very quickly. It takes thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of years or longer to replace that kind of water. So once you take a drop of water out of the ground, it is not coming back for a very, very, very long time. And one of the biggest problems we have in this state is that the law does not allow us to know how much water we have and how much water we're taking out, which is a ridiculous idea. So I think that is the very first priority, is we need to get a hold of how much water do we even have and who is using it. And so we need that is the first order of business. And then once we have more information about how much water we have and who's using it, we need to put in place measures that make sure that we're using it responsibly. So already you're seeing in the news the Saudi company that is pumping water out of the ground to feed cows outside of the country. It seems like a ridiculous use of water when you have very little of it. And so we need to put a hold on those kinds of malpractices. The governor has put together a water policy council. And one of the really important things that council is doing is it's updating the Groundwater Management Act of Arizona. The Groundwater Management Act of Arizona was a critically important law that was put in place in 1980 that basically allowed us to plan for decades ahead. And without that law, Arizona would not be able to grow to the size it is today. Our economy would be significantly smaller. I mean, this is the law that said we have to use our water smartly, and frankly, it paved the way for Arizona's success. But it's been many years now. It's been 30, 40 years since that law has been updated, and Arizona's population has skyrocketed. Our economy has changed dramatically. And so the Water Policy Council is looking at what are some common sense measures we can take to update that law so that Arizona is prepared for the future.